Old school, and 7 years ago, I picked Charlie Blackmon over Ronald Acuna Jr., and you guys destroyed me for it. You guys are really mean. What's going on, guys? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB video. I might have to say I told you so because everyone clowned me for picking Chuck Nasty over Ronald Acuna Jr. It's still really close, but I feel like my case was backed up because he went off. I think he set a record for most hits in a 4-game series ever, so I told you so. I'm not going to be petty today. What we're going to be doing is we're going to go ahead and fill out our final votes for the All-Star Game in 2019. I will be at this game, so this is going to mean a lot to me. I have a chance to meet all of these guys. I am rocking my All-Star Game hat. I'm rocking my All-Star Game jersey, but you guys don't care about that. The reason why you clicked on this video is you guys want to see who I'm voting for and why I'm voting for them. So we have about 30 minutes, so I'm currently recording this the day that voting ends, about 12:30 Pacific Standard Time, so I have 30 minutes to complete this because that's when it ends. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and sort players by OPS, because if you guys don't know what OPS is, it's on base percentage plus slugging percentage. So I feel like it's the best way to determine who has been the best offensive players. And then in the back of my mind, I'll be able to tell you guys how good these guys are defensively. So I'm gonna look at these guys as an overall sense, but first and foremost, we're gonna look at the offensive side. So if you guys enjoy, make sure you slap a like on this one and subscribe because we post MLB content every single day. Without further ado, let the voting begin. Alright guys, so you know that I am a die-hard Indians fan, so if we take a look at the #1 option for OPS in the American League for first basemen, we have Carlos Santana. He's also doing really well in the average department, and if we take a look at the rest of the guys, Luke Voit, I love him. He is pretty much the Thanos of baseball. He's a really nice guy, but he just reminds me of Thanos. He's big, he's brolic, he hits baseballs 500 feet, so he's the #2 option for OPS, and then we have CJ Crone. So CJ Crone actually bumped up his average a little bit from the last video. I just don't think that he has a better case than Santana because he has the better OPS. They have the same amount of home runs. Santana's got him beat in the batting average department, so I'm going to go ahead and pick Carlos Santana. I feel like that's actually the right baseball pick. I'm not being biased, so he is my starting first baseman for this year's All-Star Game. If we go over to the National League, there are so many players that we can pick. Pete Alonzo has been tearing up baseball. Right now, I think that he is the Rookie of the Year favorite in the National League, but there's two better picks. There's Freddie Freeman, who has come alive in the last couple weeks, and Josh Bell, who tore it up in the month of May, and honestly he's kind of faded away a little bit. He's still really good, but that batting average has crept down kind of slowly. But with a .315 batting average with 20 home runs and 66 RBIs to go along with the 1.032 OPS, I think that Josh Bell narrowly gets my pick for first baseman in the National League. I think if there was going to be a second pick, I'd probably go with Freddie Freeman or Pete Alonzo. So those would be my runner-ups. Now what we have to do is we have to choose our second baseman. So before I went for the Tommy La Stella pick, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, he is starting to tail off. His batting average used to be like .330 or something like that. He was raking the last video, but at this point, there's a lot of other options that we could go for. Eric Sogard, I'm not going to pick him even though he has some pretty good stats. He was injured for quite a bit. He doesn't have the counting stats. Brandon Lau has had a really good rookie season. I don't know if he's going to do it for me. DJ Lemahieu is a very interesting pick for me because he has a .470 batting average with runners in scoring position. He has a 2.7 WAR already. I just think that he's been the MVP of the Yankees, maybe aside from Gary Sanchez, so he would get my runner-up pick. But for right now, just because of those stats, I think that he has really earned it. I'm going to go ahead and give my pick to Tommy La Stella. That is not going to change. He will be my starting second baseman for my American League team. To the National League team, Ketel Marte, Ozzie Albies, Mike Moustakas, even Ryan McMahon has been really good. Brian Dozier is even starting to come alive. He's been on fire as of late. I still think that with the .305 batting average with 20 home runs and 50 RBIs, he's also leading all the second basemen with the OPS. Ketel Marte, I don't know how he's doing it. I think he just put on a lot of muscle. He's going for the launch angle approach now instead of trying to get base hits and steal a bunch of bags. So Ketel Marte just ahead of Mike Moustakas. Now moving on over to the hot corner third base, we have Hunter Dozier, who is having a really good breakout season. Alex Bregman, Matt Chapman, Rafael Devers. Honestly, I kind of want to go with Rafael Devers, but I just don't think he has the home runs. Alex Bregman doesn't have the batting average, but we all know that he's pretty good defensively, not as good as Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman has 17 home runs, 41 RBIs. I'm going to go ahead and give it right now to Alex Bregman. So for right now, the only thing that's changed for me in the American League is the fact that I picked Silos over CJ Crone. So Alex Bregman will be my starting third baseman, even though I really like Yandy Diaz, Rafael Devers, Giovanni Urshela's had a big and breakout season. To the National League, this is going to be so tough because Rendon is playing at an MVP level right now for the Nationals. The Nationals have been playing great as of late. I think they've won 3 in a row. They just swept the Phillies. There's Rendon, there's Arenado, there's Chris Bryant. Eduardo Escobar is breaking out with 17 home runs and 59 RBIs, but with a 328 batting average, 18 home runs, 60 RBIs, and a 977 OPS. I'm going to go ahead and give the crown to Nolan Arenado with Rendon as my runner-up, and then probably I would pick Eduardo Escobar over Chris Bryant. That's just me. All right, moving on over to the shortstops. This one is going to be very tough because Jorge Polanco, he's not the most household name. A lot of people are saying, who's Jorge Polanco? Well, he's got a 325 batting average and a 935 OPS. That's really hard to do, but Xander Bogaerts, I mean, he has more home runs and a lot more RBIs, almost the same OPS. Carlos Correa has been raking. Gleyber Torres has caught fire. Francisco Lindor has good stats in a lot less games because he started off the season on the IL. But at this point, I do want to go ahead and represent the Twins. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Jorge Polanco, although Bogaerts, that's really tough not to give it to him, but Polanco, he's going to stay my number 1 pick for shortstop in the AL. Going to the National League, Fernando Tatis Jr. If he was not injured, I really think that he would have been the starter. I picked Trevor Story as my starter in the last video. I'm not going to do that. The simple reason is because he's not going to play in the game because I think he actually just broke his thumb or something happened to his thumb, so I think he's going to be out for a long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it to my man Javier Baez. I mean, if we take a look, they pretty much have identical, not really, Trevor Story's been the better player, but for right now, I am going to give it to Javier Baez because he had a big game a couple days ago. I think that he is going to catch fire, and I think he's actually going to play in the game. So Trevor Story, if he was healthy, he would get my pick, but for right now, not going to get it. For my catcher's position, this one is easy. We don't have to talk about it, although James McCann is quietly having a great season. Gary Sanchez will be my starter in the American League. Going on over to the National League, this one's going to be a little bit more tough because we have Contreras and Grandal battling for the top spot. I think at this point, I do have to give it to Contreras because he's throwing out runners. He's hitting 292. I mean, you cannot compete with that. He is just all around amazing. Now we are getting to the juicy part. Also, if you guys are wondering why you're not seeing any pitchers, if I scroll down to the very bottom, the reason why there aren't any pitchers on this list is because we don't get to choose them. The fans do not get to. Maybe I would allow fans to vote for pitchers, and also there's something whack. I think that Albert Almora and Jason Hayward are in the running to start in the National League All-Star game. That can't happen. So I'm hoping that you guys did vote and voted properly because Almora and Hayward, I love the Cubs. I'm a big fan of them, but I do not think that those two guys are all-stars. In the American League, we're going to go with Mike Trout, obviously. He's having an all-time great season, historic season. He just had a 2 home run and 7 RBI game against the Toronto Blue Jays. Now it is going to come down to the final 2 votes. It's really tough because Joey Gallo and George Springer are obviously 2 picks that I should be making, but Springer, I think he's just coming back from injury, so I think that he deserves a vote. Joey Gallo is also coming back from a groin injury. I really like Joey Gallo because I am going to the game. I am going to give him my pick. So he's hitting 276, which is great for Gallo. 17 home runs, 41 RBIs, and a 1,074 OPS. And Max Kepler has broken out this year as well. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it to George Springer simply because he's coming back. Joey Gallo and Springer with Mike Trout, that is a lethal outfield. They can all cover some ground. They all have really good bats. They all have pretty decent arms. That is going to be my starting lineup in terms of the outfield for American League. Now we're going to the National League. This one's going to be really easy because we have Yelich, Bellinger, and I'm still going to give it to Chuck Nasty. And now again, if we go through them, we have Juan Soto, who's having a good season. Jock Peterson is breaking out with 20 home runs already. He's on pace for almost 40 home runs for the season. Hunter Renfroe's had a few good games, a 945 OPS. Scott Kingery has come alive as well. But again, Chuck Nasty will be getting my pick for the 2nd video in a row. Now what we have to do to round out our all-star selections is we have to talk about the designated hitter. I'm a little bit wary about picking this one because Hunter Pence was just injured. I think it was against the Indians. I'm going to feel really bad if I vote for Pence, but then he's injured and can't play. But again, I think that JD is going to come in 2nd. So even if Hunter Pence is injured, I think that JD is going to make the cut. So for right now, just because his stats are really, really good. He's leading the league in OPS. He has a 294 batting average, 15 home runs, 48 RBIs. I'm going to go ahead and give my pick to Hunter Pence because, again, just like Gallo, I think that they're both about to make their way back to the lineup. So there it is. We're going to review my teams real quick. For the American League, we have Carlos Santana, Tommy La Stella, Alex Bregman, Jorge Polanco, Gary Sanchez. So in the infield, there's a lot of new faces, a lot of newcomers with Jorge Polanco and Tommy La Stella. I'm not sure if Santana's made it before, but he's in the mix. We have Mike Trout, Joey Gallo, and George Springer for my outfield. They all have insane stats, with Hunter Pence as my DH. In the National League, I have to give my first baseman pick to Josh Bell, followed by Ketel Marte at second base, Nolan Arenado at the hot corner, Javier Baez at shortstop because Trevor Story is on the IL. I think he's going to the IL with a thumb injury, so if I'm wrong on that, you guys can go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. With my outfield being Christian Yelich, Cody Bellinger, and Charlie Blackmon, so I'm going to go ahead and review. I'm going to go ahead and submit this bad boy right here, so I'm not going to show you guys all that, but there is my picks. I hope that you guys did enjoy this video. Again, I will be at the All-Star Game this year. I will be filming a ton of content with players and just around the venue, everything like that. My favorite team is the Indians. We're in Cleveland. It's going to be so much fun, so make sure you guys stick around and subscribe because we're going to have vlogs. We're going to have collabs with players. It's going to be so much fun, but thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. Peace out.